Hey gang, it's Dianne Pearce from Current Words Publishing, back with another episode of You Wrote It, Now Sell It. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter P. We are always telling our writers to please blog about themselves, please post to social media, but a lot of times authors don't know what to post about. They don't know what to write about. So we like to tell our authors that what they should write about are the three P's. That's why today's episode is brought to you by the letter P, the three P's. So what are you going to write about when you write about yourself on social media, on your blog? The first thing you're going to write about is your personality. This is the public version of you, the one that you don't mind sharing with other people. Tell people the name of your dog, show them a photo of your dog. Tell people what your favorite meal is. Tell people whether you listen to vinyl or CDs or cassette tapes or you just download your music. Tell people what your playlist is on Spotify. Tell people about you, the parts of you that you don't mind sharing with the public. Personality is the first part of your social media strategy. The second part is process. Most adults want to have written a book, have published a book, and most have not. So tell people about your process. How did you get an entire book written? Whether it's a collection of poetry or flash fiction or a novel or your memoir, how did you get that whole thing done? Tell them about how you got up on Saturday morning and went out to Starbucks before anybody was awake in the house and wrote for an hour. Tell them how you accomplished the process of writing your book. How did you find your editor? How did you figure out how to publish the darn thing? People want to know, and you have the information. So that is another thing that will bring people to be interested in you, to read about you, and to want to read your book. Tell them about your process. And then last but not least, tell them about your product. What's your book called? Where can I get it? How much does it cost? Does it ever go on sale? Do you have a sample on your website that I could take a look at a chapter and see if it appeals to me? How can I get the product that you're offering? So these are the three things you're going to talk about: your personality, your process, and your product. And if you think about it, if you use something like WordPress to do your posts, you can easily get them all done one day a month. You can spend a Sunday afternoon when you're bored just cranking out a bunch of them and scheduling them to post throughout the month. And something like WordPress will automatically repost them to Blue Sky, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Instagram, meaning that you don't have to do it over and over again. If you could get yourself into the habit of doing that one day a month, you could be set for the entire month, and your posts will just go out and reach your followers and bring you new followers. The other question that a lot of authors have is, how often should I post, and how much should I post about each one of those things: personality, process, and product? So what I would do is, let's think about this. Let's imagine that you're going to put out 10 posts in a month. That might seem like a lot, but that's probably enough for any given month. So if I was going to put out 10 posts a month, I might make fully 6 of them about my personality, 6 of them of me sitting on the front porch having coffee with my dog. Okay, 6 of them about what I like to do on the weekends for fun, 6 of them about where I get my glasses. Any kind of stuff about me as a person that I don't mind sharing with the public. That's going to be fully 6 of my posts. Then I'm going to pick up my process here and I'm going to write about that. I got 4 posts left. I'm going to write about that for my 3 out of my 4 posts. 3 of my posts are going to talk about how I figured out how to find an editor for my book, how I kept going when I started getting tired and didn't want to finish my book, how I decided what kind of cover I wanted for my book. Those are my process posts. They are going to take up 3. And then finally, for my final posts, product, I'm going to put up one a month. I'm just going to ask people to buy something one time each month. Now, if in March, I ask at the end of the month for them to buy, maybe in April, I want to put that post in the middle of the month. And maybe in May, I'm going to stick it up at the front of the month and say, you should get this before you take your vacation to the beach because it's a good beach read. Each month, I'm going to have the least amount of posts on product, but I am going to have one up there because that's ultimately what I want to do, right? So, number one is I'm going to develop a relationship with my audience by telling them about my personality. Number two, I'm going to develop a relationship with my audience by telling them how I finished a whole darn book. And lastly, I'm going to give them once a month the opportunity to buy my book. Not that my book isn't always there on my blog. It is. It's always there for a reader to click on and figure out how to buy it. Okay. I always have an excerpt up there for people to read if they want to see if they're going to like it, but I only directly ask once a month. And I heavily weigh the posts in the direction of the other two, personality and process. Okay. It's not that hard. Remember your 3 P's: personality, process, and product. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.